I'm Skip from Oklahoma City. Go Thunder.
I'm Ernestine from New York City. Go Knicks.
And this is Hazel from Burbank, California. She runs this show. She runs our
Says,
household.
Go LA.
Go LA. And this is Skip versus Ernestine, brought to you by FanDuel, America's #1 sports book.
He's sick, so I'm trying to distance
gonna get to
myself
that
from
in
him,
just a
and he
second.
keeps clearing his throat, and
But
I keep telling him stop it.
As always, this is couples therapy without the therapist. Nothing out there quite like this show. We do battle. We do love hard.
But I
And
don't
we-
want to take this germ stuff he has.
All right, we're
from
going to
him.
get to that in just a second. But we bear it all for you to see and feel and respond to. And we do appreciate your questions. And we're about to get to your very deep, insightful, inspiring questions. But today, I am a little sick thanks to her. It's her fault.
He always does this. He blames me.
She was sick last week. I don't blame her.
I wasn't
it was
even
a
sick.
fact.
No, I wasn't. I don't even
Oh.
know. I think I had sinus issues.
Okay. Did you not call the doctor?
No, I texted the doctor. First of all, I woke up with this. It wasn't even a sore throat. It was an irritated throat, very irritated throat last Friday at 2 a.m. It was like cutting in my throat.
Did you not take a COVID test last week?
Yeah, of course I took a COVID test. I always think, oh,
Case
gee.
closed.
Okay, but I did not have COVID. So then I woke up the next night with the same irritated, but it was more irritated, not a sore throat where it's sore throat, you could tell. And then it kind of went into my nose, but then the weather was so bad, the humidity out here in LA and the sinus pollen, everything was so bad. So then I texted the doctor and I told him my symptoms, and he said to me, I would buy Allegrin, is that what it's called, Allegrin? I don't know, sinus medicine, and he said zinc tablets, and I told him I was alternating Tylenol and Advil, and he said continue doing that. But I never bought the drugs because I don't like taking any kind of antihistamine drugs of any kind because they whack me out. And I got better, but hopefully I don't get sick again from you. And it went away. I think mine is allergies. Mine is the allergy stuff, which I never had allergies before, but that happens when people move out here or move somewhere where it's dry. They also, what are you laughing about? You're the one that's always, you have these sinus things that and remember the time?
I haven't had a sinus infection for like a year and a half.
Do you remember the time that you went to, where was it, Dallas for work or something, and you came home
Do
with a
I?
really heavy cold, and you gave me the cold, and then you went back to Bristol when I was living in New York City, and you gave me such a bad head cold that I ended up, my
terrible.
ears blew out because I took the elevator up, and I couldn't, we lived on the 22nd floor, and I could not get into the elevator, so I would walk up and down 22 flights of steps because my ears were completely closed from you giving me the cold.
You don't take elevators, period.
I don't like elevators to begin with, but I used to take them occasionally on the 22nd floor. I never made a habit of just walking up and down 22 flights, but I did.
So we were in Dallas at the NCAA National Championship football game, played at Jerry World, and we had to do a show after the game in wintertime, and so it was freezing cold outside.
Right.
And by the time we were on, it was so late, nobody was really there, but we had to stay on for like an hour and a half. And at one point, our moderator was Carrie Champion, and she said, would you like something like a Tic Tac or something?
Yeah,
that she
Tic
was,
Tac.
I don't know what. And I thought, okay. And so I think she touched it, and she had a cold, and I just thought, oh, well, whatever. And
Whatever, the result was,
and that
I
was-
got sick from it.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, just keep your pace.
Okay, but the
Keep your-
point is, you were somehow sick, and you
I
have
was,
this
but I didn't-
amazing fortitude where you can just will things out of your body.
Yeah, right. Yes,
no,
I'm a
you did.
genie.
You just willed it off.
I didn't will
because
it off.
I think
just it took
you
a
were
week.
actually sick.
It was 1 week, Friday to Friday. But what do? Unlike you, I don't walk around the house coughing without keeping my hand over my mouth. I walk around with alcohol. I buy alcohol wipes at Rite
True.
Aid and Target. I wipe down, like this morning, you went into the kitchen and you got your soda or whatever you had. I already wiped the refrigerator down that you don't even know. I
Okay.
wiped the handles of the doorknobs. I wiped the
Okay,
remotes.
so I didn't wipe anything
Every time
down.
I say, can you please just cover your
and
mouth?
it took like 24 hours, and then I woke up, and I could just tell
But
I had something
I
in my
told
throat.
Joyce, we both laughed because you are a hypochondriac.
I'm not a
Everything that
hypochondriac.
somebody else has, you get
I
immediately.
don't.
You do.
It's called germs.
You do. My mother would say this in Jewish. if I had a hoika on my back, which means a hump on your back, he'd want one too. You like, if somebody says,
Crazy.
my knee hurts me, a day later, Skip is like, oh, my knee is really hurting me. You do that all the time.
Well, I mean, there's the power of subliminal suggestion.
You're the king of that. You own it all.
But that's not hypochondria.
Well, it's then, what would you call it? Neuroses of some sort?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, you start thinking in your mind's eye about your bad knee, and it starts to ache because their knee hurts. You've been talking about their
like that.
surgery.
You do it all the time.
I can barely speak
Anyway.
now, thanks
Please,
to you. It's
just
all your fault.
keep your distance. Keep your distance. If I get sick, your hell is going to pay here.
Well, it would just be what goes around came
Well,
back
how many
around
times
and
do I have
got
to
you.
get it? What do you mean? I didn't even have a
You
cold.
started it, and it would
I
finish
did
with
not.
you.
Oh, please. For all the times you got me
her.
sick. How many times?
I need to will the demon out of
Yeah.
me back to you, I guess.
No, there should be a curtain here. But anyway, God help me for this hour.
So I get it. And mine, just immediately, the first day I was kind of okay, just a scratchy throat. And then it just marches right up into my sinuses. And by day 2, I wake up and I've got
I even told
infection in
Francesca,
my
because
throat, like
Francesca knows by
brown
now.
bile.
Francesca knows, and Francesca's like, oh no,
Your
now
best
he's
friend.
sick. Yeah, my best friend Francesca. Anyway, whatever. Just keep your distance. Don't clear your throat, and we'll be fine.
Well, don't blame me for what you gave me.
It's sinus.
It's okay.
It was sinus.
It's okay.
You have sinus issues. You've since the day I met you. You've always had sinus issues.
I just get it, and it goes, and I have to get
Z-Pack,
some kind of. I got a Z-Pack, thanks to your best friend. I got a Z-Pack, and I'm about halfway through it.
Right, and then you take Tylenol, and then you may have to
And
get.
if it persists, I'll have to get amoxicillin or something stronger to wipe it out.
I'm like autodial with the phone.
Well, I don't stop my exercise. You'll slack off your exercise.
Well, I'm a human being with brains.
Well, I'm a human being. I just don't
You
have
have no
any brains. Hey.
Anyway,
She can't get it though.
well, stop touching her all over. Then I got to take the
touching her.
washcloth.
She
I
can't
wipe
get a
her
cold
down.
from me.
I wipe her down too.
Oh, great.
Then you
Poor
wonder why
Hazel.
she's
My
wet.
mom's a psycho, but it's okay.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Hazel says, I don't want to get sick. He's got cooties. I don't want those cooties. Don't lick his hand, Hazel. He's got cooties.
What are cooties?
Cooties.
Where did that start?
I don't know,
I
but
mean,
you
when
know
I was
when
in
you're...
grade school, kids would say, "Ooh, you got cooties."
Yeah, you got cooties. You got like
What
germs
are
or
cooties? I got to
something.
look this up.
Whatever.
Germs?
Yeah,
Are
germs.
cooties germs?
Yes.
Or are
you
they
got
like
cooties.
demons?
I don't know what I picture.
need
They look
an-
like little Pac-Men or something.
Really? Do
Yeah.
you need an exorcism to get rid of your
Yeah,
cooties?
you need a cootyism.
Cooties? Where did that start? It's
I don't
bizarre.
know.
Okay, so in the throes of my sickness, on my
God,
deathbed,
here we go.
we were having a conversation the other night
Yeah.
as we were in between
Games?
games or TV shows, whichever one it was. And I don't know how we got into this, but you dwelled on it about how many people in your life can you truly count on? How many friends do you have
That's true.
that are lifelong who, if you were in trouble or you really needed them, they would
No, I know what
fly
happened
for
because
you.
my
They
friend
would-
Jeff was in the hospital. And I was texting him every day saying, hey, I hope you're okay. And we haven't been lifelong friends. We've been more recent friends, but we have a connection to each other. And I really care about him and he cares about me. And I said, hey, if you need anything or whatever. And then I said to you, I wonder, if you think about it, you always think, I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people. Do I consider them my friends' friends? Some of them are friends, but then when you go one step further and you think, who would really be there for you if you needed something? I'd say you're lucky if you have 5 friends. I'd say more 2 or 3 that would really come through anything for you. That's what I really feel.
Okay, so you have your sister,
I have my
obviously.
sister.
You have your best friend,
Francesca. I got my friend Robin in Ohio.
I'm making jokes about best friend
Oh,
because she got a
somebody kept
question,
saying, why do I call her
sort of
best
criticized.
friend?
It was a somewhat
Observation.
critical question of why do you always call her your best friend? Because she is our best friend, Francesca.
Francesca, Joyce, my friend Robin,
who lives in Ohio.
Who lives in Ohio, but I've known her for 20 years. And even though we don't see each other, but we talk almost every day, and she's the kind of person that I know, if anything, she would hop on a plane and I would do that for her.
And how do you know her?
I know her because of somebody that I dated
Aha.
who she worked for.
So double standard here. If I had a close friend who had worked closely with one of my exes, then this friend would be an ex, because you would say you can't maintain that
Yeah, but
kind of
Robin,
relationship.
wasn't her fault. She worked for the guy I was dating, and then she and I, and then we didn't speak for, oh my God, for 10, 15 years. And then when that person got sick and didn't make it and ended up going to another planet, as in passed on, I contacted her and said, hey, do you know what happened to him, really? And we became friends. And then since then, that's been 7 years, we've just
Okay.
reconnected.
But I have never once complained about, you have a very close friend who was very close with your ex.
Right, but
Right?
my ex can't come back. I wish,
Okay.
I mean, if he could, that would be incredible.
Hazel, do you think I have cooties?
Yeah, she said, look, I want, enough is enough.
Hazel.
She said, I've had you
Hazel.
hawking, and now,
This is the first time in the history of the show she went over to your
because
side.
she realizes you're like a germ fest. Jeez.
Hazel.
Anyway,
Are
so
you, I was going to list Hazel as one of the people, so to speak, I could count on.
I don't know about if
and
you
she
could
just
list
left
her
me,
right
so
now.
I don't think
Yeah.
I could count on
Anyway.
Hazel.
And
Okay.
Hazel. And Hazel would run through fire.
Okay, so you have a pretty, count them on one hand that you could
Yeah.
count on, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, I am close to a family in Oklahoma City where I grew up.
Yes.
Go Thunder. The Humphreys clan, and it is a big clan,
Mhm.
and there are a bunch of Humphreys I could count on because they know they could count on me.
Right.
Starting with my friend from 7th grade on, Craig Humphreys, the Hump Man, Oklahoma City talk radio legend.
Right.
His son Sam, we lost his wife Bev, who was close with us, to breast cancer. And Craig would be there for me. Sam would be there, his son, for me, along with his now wife, Reagan. They're about to have their first child, Hope. And I don't know if I could count on Hope just yet, but she'll be part of the clan. But Craig has 3 other daughters by his first marriage.
I don't think they would be there for you. They're not close to you. They
No,
just
but
know
I'm
you.
close with them. I could count on them. I don't think they would fly for me.
Well, that's the type of thing I'm talking about. Somebody who, if you live in a different city, you know somebody's going to hop a plane for you. Francesca, my sister, Robin. I know that.
I'm close with another grade school friend of mine named Perry Littlepage. I'm we don't stay in close touch, so I'm not sure he would count here. But I have a friend in Nashville that I went to college with named Daryl, who I think would fly for me. I think he would be there for me.
I think so.
And I've
my
worked
sister
with,
would do that for you. Francesca would maybe do that for you.
I think she would actually.
Yeah, Francesca
I do think she
loves
would.
you
So
and
I'm
cares about
blessed to have your side.
Yeah, extension of my friends.
And then I've worked with countless people in television, but I don't know that I was ever that close to any one of them where I'd say, oh, they would always be right there for me.
There are a lot of people I have worked with over the years that, especially when I worked in different fashion companies and worked with tons of different editors, and they're all my best friend, especially when you can give them product, because I've worked for different companies that had really high-end products. I knew everybody's father's shoe size, what kind of handbags their mom liked. And then the minute I was out of that job, nobody calls. But then when I landed somewhere else, oh, they show up again because now I can give them clothes. And so those people that you think are your friends, they're not really your friends. And it's the same thing. They're fringe friends, not true friends.
Okay.
Tyler would be there for you.
Tyler Corner, producer, would be there for both of us.
Yes, Tyler.
For sure. And then there's our man, my brother, your brother.
Oh, Wayne. Wayne would definitely. Wayne definitely would be there.
He would be there.
Yeah.
He just would. If we were in trouble, he would just figure it out on the fly and make it work.
He would. He's definitely someone that would be there.
He's helped us, maybe even saved us 2 or 3 key times in our lives.
And I with him.
And yet, allow me to say to you that what I value most about us is we do have each other.
Oh, I forgot that.
Yeah. Well, I'm being genuine.
Oh
I'm being
yeah, well,
authentic
of
about
course.
this.
I
I'm
mean,
not
that's not even a.
being facetious, but it really matters to me because there's some sacrifice to having a relationship where you have to put up with this and put up with that. But in the end, I do know there's one person in this world I could count on till death do us part, and
Yes,
that's this
Hazel.
one. It's
Oh, I thought
Hazel.
it was Hazel.
But it's
No,
this one.
of
And her.
course.
She's very loyal.
Right.
Or until
She can't
about
drive a car or
couple
do
of
anything
minutes
like
ago,
that. But
no.
yeah, definitely.
Hazel, you gave up on me.
Yeah,
Can't
I would be
believe
there,
it.
and I have been there.
She has always been there. She is times 1,000 the most loyal person I've ever known. Times
I am.
1,000.
That's true.
And I've known a lot of people.
I'm
Worked
dedicated and
with a
very
lot of
loyal to
people.
people I care
She's
about.
like extremely, fanatically, obsessively, all in loyal.
Yeah.
Just all in.
That is true.
Yeah.
I am that kind of person.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of Lil Wayne, first question is an Instagram question from New Orleans Finest. What did
It's
you
okay.
think?
They're
It's okay.
working
She hears
outside.
somebody. It's
She
okay.
hear- It's okay. They're working
It's okay.
outside.
It's okay. Everything's
sleep.
okay.
You can go to sleep.
No,
It's okay, Hazel.
It's okay.
She just hears
Doing
them
a good
vacuuming
job.
in the hall.
Doing a good
She
job.
hears them vacuuming.
Question from New Orleans Finest. What did you think of Lil Wayne's new album? Okay.
Here we
So, you're
I'm going to give her a treat. So there we go.
another bone to pick, so to speak.
Well, she's got a bone in her mouth.
I know.
That's a very good bone. It's a very good bone. Okay, go sleep. Go sleep now.
All right.
Okay.
So we're not rap critics. So I have a
No.
hard time. I just thought Carter 3 was the greatest. And I can try to rate and debate, but nobody cares what I think of Lil Wayne's stuff. And I'm not objective about it because he's a genius.
We love anything
He's a
Wayne
genius
does.
creator. He's a genius lyricist.
Poet.
He's a poet.
He
and
is.
he knows it. And, you know, The Days is probably the prime cut off the album with Bono.
Mm-hmm.
Who knew that he would have
I
Bono
love that.
feature Bono?
So
Really?
great.
Okay, way to go. And I like it a lot. And I also gravitated to Cotton Candy because I know 2 Chainz. He loves Wayne. Wayne loves him. And so they have a sort of a funky flow.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of sounds like the Marvelettes in the background. And it's just a cool song and it's different. You know.
What I think is that Wayne has a really good voice as just singing.
He
And I wish
can.
he would sing just more, not the rap. I think he would just, I would love to hear him just sing.
When-
Like ballady, because he did one song on Saturday Night Live that time.
He did.
That was really good.
It was really
And
good.
then I texted with him yesterday about selling out the Garden, and he told me that he brought LL Cool J out, and that would have been
Very
an
cool.
amazing.
Yeah, so he texted with me, I think it was whatever night, he played the Garden.
Friday or Saturday?
Yeah,
One of them.
and it was like a little kid text. I just sold out the Garden, as in Madison Square Garden, as in the mecca of basketball. And I texted back, you're out nicking the Knicks because the Knicks were the show in the Garden
Yeah.
until they ran into the Pacers. And he was so proud of that. And it struck me that that moment on the day his Carter 6 dropped was a milestone achievement for him that sort of made up for his Super Bowl snub.
Well,
Sort of made
I don't know.
up
I
for
just
it.
told him,
a
listen,
bit.
I said, only greats sell out the Garden.
Only greats.
And you are that,
Yeah,
because he is.
that was
You
a
can sell out
pantheon
Madison Square Garden,
achievement.
you have made it.
Yeah. So
Not as in
congratulations
sports,
to him.
but
We're very proud of
We
him,
love him.
and he's never going to stop. He's never going to back off. And I truly believe this about him. His greatest is yet to come.
Oh,
I don't know
yeah.
what it is, but because he's so fearless as a creator, as an initiator, he'll just keep on keeping on, keep on.
He gets better with
because he's
everything
into
he
his
does.
40s now. He's what is he 41?
41.
Yeah, I think.
But
But hey, he has not peaked. He has not even approached his peak yet. That's what I think
yeah,
about Lil Wayne's new album. Okay, quick point of order
Yeah.
here. We do have a new sponsor to the show
Oh.
called Harry's.
Oh,
as in
Harry's, the body wash
Harry's
and the.
Body
Well, it
Wash.
was Harry's. They started out with their
They
men's
did.
razor
They
line.
did,
and,
but this is about Harry's Body
yeah,
Wash
you've been
because
using that.
I use it every time I shower.
Yeah.
My favorite is the Stone, which is a charcoal lime sort of
Yeah,
flavor,
it smells
if you will.
nice, actually.
And
Not for me, but for a guy.
It definitely, I used it today. I don't know if you could smell me.
I don't want to smell you too close.
I know, too close for
Maybe it'll
comfort.
kill the germs you
Hazel
have.
came back. That's a good girl. That's a good girl.
They should make
Thank you.
antibacterial.
Yeah. So the charcoal and lime gives me what I consider, if you will, a manly scent.
You do.
It's
You
not
smell
some
very manly.
overwhelming cologne type scent.
No.
Not like Sex Panther, you know, like I don't know, Sex Panther.
Yes.
It's not that.
Uh-huh.
Subtle, it's strong. It makes me feel better about myself, more confident as I move through the day. Just
Well, you
feel
don't smell,
cleaner,
so that's a good thing.
more refreshed. I don't smell.
Bad.
And I'm often sweaty, and so
Yeah,
I've got
he
to
is. He sweats a
got to
lot.
shower. So you can complete your shower routine with this richly lathering body wash from Harry's. Keep your game right on point. You can try it for $8
That's
today
cheap.
at harrys.com
That is
slash,
cheap.
my name's Skip, harrys.com
That's a
slash
good Father's
Skip.
Day present.
Use my name if you want to feel and smell as good as I do after you shower.
And it's big. It's a big
Big.
thing for $8.
It
so
works.
It's a nice Father's Day gift.
Okay, this is from @Dimitri Braun. I don't know if that's LeBron, 1973, @Dimitri Braun 1973. I guess women with Botox and implants look as attractive to men as men with Botox and implants look to women. Perfect plastic dolls are not hot, says Dimitri Braun. This whole fad is just peer pressure between women. Aha, between women. We've talked a lot about plastic surgery
Yeah.
as it applies to the Kardashians. And by the way, you apprised me that she, as in Kylie Jenner,
yeah.
came clean about.
Well, she came out that she did have plastic surgery.
Yes, she did have.
Yes, she did. But mostly she's not saying her face. It's really her body and her boobs.
But look at the pictures.
Well, of course.
I mean, her face doesn't look remotely
two
like
different
her
faces,
younger face.
But on her boob, she got 45 cc's, which equal a double D.
Oof.
I'm a 34A. Okay.
Okay.
So do the math on boobs.
Okay.
But our friend who is a plastic surgeon said that he's in Beverly Hills, and he told me once that he will not even, when women come to his office and want a size that's even bigger than that, he will not do it because he does not want somebody to say that he did that work on that woman because it's so bad. And so, I don't know. I think it is competition amongst women that I got a better nose job than you, I got a better boob job than you. It's just out of control. And if you walk in Beverly Hills, as I do every single day, and sometimes you see the women walking together. A lot of them, there's twins that we see all the time in Beverly Hills. They have the same look and the same plastic bodies. So I guess, I don't know, maybe they get a friends and family discount too. A lot of these places.
Well, with the Kardashians or the Jenners, you mean?
Oh, not that. They
Well,
get
they
it
get
for
it for
free.
free,
Oh, please.
yeah.
And then in the article that she says that it's because somebody said, can you please share the secret of what your boob size is? Because I want to get the same exact thing because yours looks so great. And she went on and saying 45 double C, cc's. And then she lists the doctor. But then my friend Francesca, my best friend Francesca, who is a doctor, she said that's not even the doctor who did her boob job. But they just keep rambling doctors' names in interviews because that means they get free whenever they want something. The doctor will do it for free because they just gave them ads. It's a big game.
I always tell you that the game has to end at some point because how many times can you be so addicted to plastic surgery that you can outrun Father Time? Because Father Time will just keep taking and taking
well, you
and
can't
taking.
because eventually what happens, and there are plenty of actresses that have had this happen, they started in the 60s and 70s to get their nose done, like Michael Jackson. And after a while, the cartilage falls in and you have no more, they can't do anything else to you. So your nose is completely fallen in from too many nose jobs.
Yeah, it's horrible.
And boob jobs where you end up seeing, because the skin is really thin there by your boobs, and then it's pulled, and it's just not.
So do you blame plastic surgery or the explosion of it on women more than men?
I think women probably are the majority of plastic surgery. Men, maybe a nose job, but it's not. They're not getting as many implants and total fillers as women do.
Yeah. I will say this. As much as you scoff at it, as much as you ridicule it, I do occasionally see a woman who had a facelift or whatever you call it, and they look very good.
Yeah,
Because
there
I
are
would
some that look
say
great.
1 out of 10 actually really, really works.
Yeah,
I
I
also
agree.
see disasters.
Well, I agree on that too.
I see lots of disasters when we go to Beverly Hills, if we go there to eat, go there to see the doctors. I see disasters where they're just nightmares.
Yeah.
Where they just look distorted.
But
like,
that's luck of the draw.
Yeah.
A, it's luck of the draw how good your doctor is. B, it's how many times you're going to have your face done in the, that's the problem. Because if you have too many, you're becoming distorted. Like the Catwoman. Remember the Catwoman? She just passed away, but she had massive plastic surgery over and over and over again. And after
I
a
don't
while,
remember who she was.
in New York, she was Wilderstein. She was the famous
Oh, okay.
Catwoman.
Oh, yeah.
But,
okay. Wow.
And you have to trust these doctors, but they are going to lie to you, most of them, except for our friend who would not do the implant because he doesn't want to be blamed for that woman looking like that. But they're going to do it just for the money.
Okay, here's another question on the same
Oh,
subject. This is Paula from Tampa. Appreciate your continued openness about plastic surgery. Certainly something we all think about as we age. We do. While you both have said you wouldn't do any cosmetic surgery, I do wonder what part of your body would you want to change if you ever decided to have work done? It's a good question. from
my
Paula.
nose.
Just your nose. I like your nose.
Well,
Gives you
thank you.
character.
Thank you.
It's your style. It's who you
Well,
are.
Being an Italian Jewish person, that's what you end up with. But if I always liked little noses, little noses.
So you want a little nose.
I would love to have a small little nose. Go on Bedford.
Well, do you
and you
want
see-
me to get you one for your
I
birthday?
don't
or-
need you to get me one. No. I would not have any. First of all, I have a phobia against anesthesia,
Yeah, you do.
that's a big thing for me. That's why it took
True.
4 years to get a colonoscopy because I didn't want to be put out. But they have to put you out. And remember the day when I fell in the kitchen and I fell on my nose when I
Do I?
opened? That was terrible. I thought I broke my nose. There was a part of me that thought, oh my God, if I broke my nose, would they have to do something I can get a nose job?
No?
It didn't. My nose
work.
my nose was big enough to withstand the smack on the floor.
Okay, so you...
I would do a nose, not boobs. I don't care about the boobs. I don't care
What are
about
the
butt.
odds before you leave this planet that you have a nose job?
Never.
You got zero?
Never. Unless
Okay.
they create something that
Wow.
you don't need anesthesia.
You went under for your colonoscopy, no?
Twilight. But
Twilight.
not that was like I could hear them doing it. It wasn't as though plus after you have a nose job, I'm sure a lot of people out there have had nose jobs also for deviated septums. My sister has deviated septum. You have to deal with the black and blue and the swelling and all of that. I just can't deal with inflicting more pain on my body. Even though I know that in the end it'll look great. But sometimes the noses don't look great when they do them.
Agreed. Sometimes everything doesn't look great.
Yeah, I mean, I know you have to get lucky. What would you do?
I'm like you. I'm a 0% chance.
You got a good nose.
It's okay. I don't know. I'm going to roll with what God gave me, what I was
Okay.
born with. But if you pressed me, I guess as I get older and older and older, would I consider a face job,
Facelift?
lift, something? What do you call it? Just face
Facelift.
work? Yeah.
Facelift.
I guess that would be the only thing I would even think about.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't forget Jerry Jones when he had his first facelift and Jimmy Johnson ridiculing him. It's looking like Michael Jackson. Jerry Jones looks like Michael Jackson. That's bizarre.
Yeah, that was back in the day too.
It was back in the day. And now I look at Jerry and there's not even a remnant of his facelift because Father Time marched on.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, marched all over his face,
Mhm.
and he just looks his age now.
Mhm.
He looks, what is he, 81, I believe.
I think it looks pretty good for 81, but
He looks pretty good, but it doesn't look like he had a facelift.
no, he doesn't look like he had a facelift. But the facelift, that's major. That's where they're cutting you and they're pulling your head back, your skin back, and oh my God, my friend Barbara, who was the rock and roll
Yeah.
music queen,
Mm-hmm.
she decided she wanted the facelift. I mentioned this a week ago, whatever. And when she had the facelift, she went to the best doctor in New York who did the Kennedys and did a lot of people. And I was the one that stayed with her when she first got home from the facelift. And her big thing was, I don't want to look like I had a facelift. I want to look like I'm rested. But you're not going to look just rested. You're going to look like, especially when it's very tight. But what she had to go through, and we had to wash her hair out, and there's blood all over the place. And oh, I just, no. But these people here in Beverly Hills, they do it like you're taking cold medicine. They just keep booking themselves in for plastics. They have no qualms about it.
Yet, I mentioned the other day that we live in a gated community where Jane Fonda lives. If you don't know Jane Fonda, you should look her up, 'cause
Yeah.
she is
She's the queen. Well, she's out there all over protesting. I mean,
She
everybody
is.
knows in the world Jane
She
Fonda.
is a movie star.
Yeah, she's a
She
Hollywood
is
royalty.
real live Hollywood royalty,
Yeah.
and she's 80.
She's 88 because
8.
yesterday I went to get a manicure, and the girl who does my manicure does Jane Fonda, and she said she had just seen her 2 days before, and Jane is going to Australia traveling, and Jane had cancer, and now she's free, thank God, of cancer. And my girl who does my nails said to her, "You look good," and she said, "I feel good." And she said, "I'm 88, I don't have cancer anymore, and I'm feeling good," and she looks amazing.
So she has definitely
She's
had
had
face
a
work,
couple of,
and she doesn't look like it to me. I saw her in the gym a couple of weeks back, and
and her body
I
is
was just
amazing.
shocked. She's in superior shape,
She's solid.
like solid.
Well,
she works
she
out
was
with
the
a
queen
trainer
of.
we know.
She
Oh, she was
created all the
Jane
Jane
Fonda
Fonda
workouts. Well, there, duh.
right? She
Yeah.
was the
But
reason why
whatever
people did
face work she's had,
Yeah, she
it
looks
just looks
great.
natural, and she looks incredibly young for
Yeah,
88.
88.
She
I
looks
mean,
like she's
She looks
oh,
like she's
maybe
60,
60,
maybe.
yeah, in her
And she
60s.
walks so erect. Her
Wow.
body is just, man,
Whew.
I'll have what she's having.
Hazel's in great shape. Thank you.
Hazel says she's got some fur wrinkles, but nothing
Quick
nothing
time out.
bad.
My voice
Okay,
wanes.
here, okay. We gotta keep his voice
Ah,
wet the whistle.
okay. Next question is from Kelly from Atlanta. It's okay, Hazel. You gotta wait.
Hazel, here.
You gotta wait.
Okay.
One of the biggest cultural stories this week was Beyonce having a wardrobe malfunction during her concert in London. Have either of you ever had a wardrobe malfunction moment?
Well, you spent 100
especially
years
you,
on
Skip,
TV.
with your
Yeah.
countless decades on
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah, you had.
Um,
I had a malfunction, but you go with yours.
you want me to go first?
Yeah, you can go.
All right.
Oh
I've
God,
never
here
told
he's
this story.
clearing his voice again.
Sorry. She did it. It's her fault.
God.
I did have one that I've never spoken about publicly, and I will speak about
Okay.
it now. But it wasn't really my fault. It was an encouraged wardrobe malfunction.
Okay.
I was on a show at ESPN back in the day called Prime Monday. It aired on ESPN ahead of Monday Night Football, which was then on ABC.
Right,
So we were on
ABC.
for a couple of hours. So I would fly from where I lived in Dallas every Monday afternoon. I would fly to Hartford, Connecticut, rent car, drive to Bristol, 30, 40 minutes. And we would do our show, and then I would fly back on Tuesday to Dallas. So I was doing talk radio in Dallas and writing, and I had a lot going on. And one Sunday night off a Cowboy home game, I just blanked out and forgot to throw black socks into my bag. So I didn't have any socks to wear on television with the suit that I'd taken up to Bristol, Connecticut to the ESPN mothership to do this Prime Monday show. And I realized it that afternoon at the hotel. You know the hotel in Bristol.
I know.
Ugh.
Looked like an insane asylum.
It looked like an insane asylum. was afraid people were going to leap out the
Oh, it
windows.
was scary.
But I was there in my room on the first floor, and my producer was in the room named Joe Valera, because we were going to go for a run for an hour outside in the afternoon. And I told him, I don't have any socks. He's like, forget it. Just go without socks tonight.
Right.
Nobody cares. It was our opening night
Right.
of season 2 on the
Right.
show. And I thought, I never not wear
Right.
socks. I'm not a sockless kind of guy.
Right.
And I went without socks.
Uh-oh.
And little did I know that the handheld camera,
Yeah.
they decided in season 2 to move it more, so they were
Right.
sort of going all around our debate table,
Because
because
normally they just shoot from
Yeah.
waist up.
but we were called the Knights of the Round Table. It was Mitch Albom, Michael Wilbon, and I, with Mike Tirico
Mm-hmm.
refereeing, moderating, and he stood behind us to moderate, but the camera's swooping all around,
Oh
and
my
obviously
God.
I'm on the right wing, and it immediately
Oh, it goes
catches
down
the
to your-
fact that my white ankles
Oh,
are showing, and
gee.
I probably had on like a dark blue suit, so it was just glaringly
right,
white
right.
ankles without socks.
Right.
Finished the segment. Joe Valero meets me as I leave the set, and he's out of his mind, beside himself, and he says, John Walsh, who then ran ESPN,
Right.
called the control room for
Oh
Joe
my
Valero
God.
during our segment, our debate,
Oh my God.
and said, what the hell is he doing? Is he going Hollywood on us in
Oh my
season
God.
2? Never again. And Joe said, I had to fight back to keep you on the show.
Oh my
Like he was ready to
God.
pull
Gonna
my
throw you
plug
out
on the
because you don't have
show
socks on.
because I had the wardrobe
Oh
malfunction
my God.
that was actually inflicted upon me by my producer,
Right.
who obviously took no
Right. He
blame
didn't
at
stick
all.
up for you.
And it was the first time I knew,
Yeah.
in this
he's-
business, you're on your
He doesn't
own.
have your back.
He
Oh my
does
God.
not have my back.
He would not hop a flight. I hate to tell
and
you.
yet, that's another one about friends.
Yeah.
I consider Joe a friend. He's not with us anymore.
Mm.
Rest in peace, Joe. But I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
We went on lots of runs together. We had many meals together.
Yeah.
But when push came to shove,
Yeah. People don't have your back.
when his job's on the line,
Yeah. Forget about you. Yeah. That's a good
I'm
one.
gone.
Though. That's a good one.
yeah,
I
wardrobe
didn't. I had
malfunction.
one. I wasn't on TV, but I was going for a job interview, and I'll never forget. I had a purple skirt suit on with high heels, and it was a fashion job I was going for. And I was in a cab on 57th between 5th and Madison,
New York
right
City.
in front of
Mhm.
right in front of the Four Seasons
Yep.
Hotel. And we were stopped at a light, and there were a couple of cars in front of us. And all of a sudden, we hear this explosion, like giant explosion, and the back window, the glass behind me, shattered and was completely all over my blazer and my hair. And we got down in the seat. We thought there was a sniper. We didn't know what happened. So he pulls over, and I get out of the cab, and I'm just covered in glass. And he's like, "Are you okay?" I said, "I don't know. I have glass all over me." And
Hey,
what we realized was that it was the summer,
yeah.
and it was very hot, and he had just put in a new glass in the back rear view
And
window,
expanded
and it
somehow
expanded
and
and
exploded.
exploded. But I had 10 minutes to get to my interview, and I ran. It was right on Madison and 57th, and I remember running, and I was covered in glass. I'm trying to shake off the glass, and when I got up to the interview, the guy just looked at me. I said, "If you see glass," I just was in a cab that I didn't get the job, but I did go for the interview. That was my crazy story.
Maybe he thought you were just crazy.
I don't know, maybe, but
Maybe
every time I
exploding
walk
glass
past that
cost you
50,
the job.
every time I walk past that Four Seasons, I think of me sitting in that cab. Isn't that
Wardrobe
weird?
malfunctions, neither of them caused by us.
No.
Right? So we weren't blamed for
No.
either of our malfunctions. Quick thought. This Father's Day, why don't you give Dad the world's best steak
Oh,
experience,
geez.
which is Omaha Steaks?
Oh, I used to give them to my mother.
She did. We have given them as gifts for
Gifts,
many
we did.
Christmases to our friends, the Humphreys.
did. They used to put them
mentioned
on the
They
barbecue.
used to call us, text us.
Yeah.
These are the greatest ever. They make great gifts. So
Yeah,
why
they
don't
are
you visit
good.
omahasteaks.com right now for guaranteed perfect gifts that deliver
It's
legendary
good for
quality.
Father's Day.
And for an extra $35 off, you can use
Wow.
the promo code SKIP at checkout. You can just use my last name. So that's omahasteaks.com, and an extra $35 off with the promo code SKIP
They
at
are
checkout.
they are really good,
SKIP.
especially if you're getting
They are
$35 off,
really
and if you
good.
save them for the summer in your freezer, you could have them. But I know my sister gets she still orders them, chicken cutlets she likes. They have chicken, they have hot dogs, they have filet
So if you
mignon.
need a last second
Yeah.
Father's Day,
Or just to keep them in your freezer with
quick.
$35 off, you can keep them for the
Yeah.
whole summer.
ship them. Way
Hot
to go.
dogs.
See site for details.
Okay.
This is Travis
Those are
from
good.
all the way from Scotland. We have a viewer
Wow.
in Scotland.
Scotland.
We have them all
We
over
were
the world.
watching a
Well, we're going to get to
yeah,
that.
yeah, we had a Scotland weekend.
Yeah. If you were forced to just watch one streaming network, which one would you pick?
Amazon, because
You
they have
would?
old TV
You know,
shows.
I thought about this, and I'm with you. They have a wider variety,
They have
more
every
of a range.
And if you have an old movie or an old TV show, you can go to Amazon and you could put in the search thing and it comes up.
But Netflix is really
Yeah,
good
Netflix
and
is
really
good.
breakthrough with all of its documentaries.
Yeah, they've got a lot of
and
good. But so does Amazon now.
It's internally created shows that Netflix is really good. It's close call for me, but I'll side with you.
Oh yeah, Amazon.
I'd go Amazon.
Yeah.
Hey, Thursday night football.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna have NBA games, so
And actually, I watched a documentary. It's about the fashion world, and it's called Calendar Girl, and it's a really amazing documentary on this woman who created the fashion calendar that everybody in the fashion world live by, because when you're a designer and you want to show during Fashion Week, you have to list in a calendar. And back in the day, Calvin was trying to go on Tuesday at noon, and Donna Karan wanted to go at the same time, so she created this calendar, and she lived till 98 years old, and it's this story on how she created it, and it's really cool. It's called Calendar Girl. You should check it out. Ruth Finley was the woman, and I worked with her. She was a dynamo. But I wanted to see it, and I didn't know. It was a documentary came out 3 years ago. I didn't know if anybody had it. Amazon had it, and I watched it at my desk last week.
you did.
Yeah, I just put it on and watched it.
It's
It was
a long
$2.99.
story. I did not know. Never heard that.
It's such a good
I guess you
documentary.
told your other boyfriend.
Yeah, I
about
told my
that.
other boyfriend who's no longer here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, next up. Oh, before we forget,
Mhm.
Tiffany from, I'm sorry, I left this one out.
Oh, okay.
I left this out
All
for
right.
you. Forgive me, I'm going to backtrack just for a second
Backtrack
because
it.
this is
It's okay.
an Ernestine
Oh.
question that deserves to be in this show.
Oh.
This was when we were talking about fashion disasters. Tiffany from Alexandria, Virginia said, your outfits for you. Your outfits on the show are always on point. How do you decide what to wear for
That's
each
so
episode?
nice.
Well, how do you?
I don't know. I have a lot of tops, and I
know.
buy a lot of tops.
I know.
But my thing is, because I was in fashion for so many years, I don't really care about designer names, and I don't buy that many designer names. But what I found through all my years of working in fashion, and I worked for the highest luxury brands as well as cheap brands, but it doesn't matter what you pay for something. It matters how it looks. So for me, I could buy a blazer that's $10 in the junk store, but if you
That's
have
true.
it tailored and you don't let the sleeves go down to here and you bring it to a tailor for $20 and you get them altered there and you just have it fit, it could look like a $200 blazer.
Okay,
So that is
we
my.
love $10 blazers in this house.
I did actually. I bought one on the Gap. I bought one at the Gap, and I just brought it to the tailor, and it's black denim, and I paid, I think it was reduced to like $30, and I had it tailored and taken in, and even the tailor said, "This looks really great on you." So it's all about in the tailoring. But I appreciate the comment.
Thank
But
you, Tiffany.
I
You
just love
cost
fashion.
me thousands of dollars.
Yeah, him, like he's paying for it. I love
Okay.
fashion, so.
Okay, now back to Travis from Scotland, which brings us to this week's Skip and Ernestine Go to the Movies on the Couch. And what we've been watching, speaking of Scotland, is thanks to a friend of
Thanks to
yours
Richard,
in New York.
again.
Way to go, Richard.
Richard told us about the Residence.
He
What
did.
else did he tell us about? Did he tell us about something else?
Studio?
Studio, he and I both came up with that at the same time.
Okay.
But he told me 2 weeks ago, been watching this Department Q.
Department Q. Who knew?
Tyler watched it already.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So we stumble in.
Yeah. And
You-
Richard said the first episode's a little gory, but he said it really
Well,
gets better.
Was it?
Well, for you it wasn't. For me,
Gory, that's
anyway,
ridiculous.
it's bloody.
Okay, so a guy gets stabbed in the head in the
Yeah,
first
I
episode.
know. Kind of not fun, but
and then there's a shooting, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But the first episode, look, you have to get into the Scottish rhythm because
It's hard to
their whole
understand a
rhythm,
little
it's
bit.
hard to understand occasionally. They're speaking English that needs translation.
Well, they would know. Who was it from
occasionally.
Scotland that just...
Oh, Travis.
Travis would know.
Yeah, but the Scottish brogue, I love it. I love to
Yeah,
listen to
me
it, but
too.
occasionally when they're speaking quickly,
And fast. It's hard to get.
I just,
Yeah.
I'm like, what? What did she say? What did he
But
say?
it's such a good
But they're
show.
all Scottish except for
Matthew Good, yeah,
who's
who I
English,
love.
English,
Yeah.
English. And they sort of make jokes about him being not Scottish,
mhm.
but everybody else is Scottish, and the whole style of it is Scottish.
Oh,
And so you have to
good.
you have to get with the rhythm of Scotland. I don't even know what city it's in. Is it
Edinburgh?
is
I
it
thought it was.
Glasgow? I don't know.
It
Edinburgh?
was Edinburgh.
I don't think they ever say what city
I
it is,
thought
but
it
whatever, it
was.
doesn't matter.
Anyway.
But the first episode, you kind of got to hang with it
Mhm.
because there's a lot of fast forward, flashback,
Mhm.
fast forward, flashback.
Yeah.
It's remarkably edited and complexly written
The
with
acting
great
was
dialogue,
incredible.
great acting, and it is a thriller, and it
It's
is a
great.
mystery,
Oh my God.
and it's about the disappearance of this prosecutor who everybody hated.
Mhm.
She had many enemies and people stalking her, and
Mhm.
so she disappears for 4 years, and they're trying to reopen the case with this new department that they've created around Matthew Good, who's
Kind
this
of just all like
wacko.
rejects.
He's
reject
they're all
cops.
rejects, and he's got all kinds of psychological issues. He's in therapy, but he's really talented, as are each of the
Oh, they're
misfits
so
around
good.
him. And so they begin to
Investigate.
rework the whole case.
Yeah, they reopen it and
Yeah,
they probe into what
and they
happened.
redo it, and it's fascinating
Yeah.
and gripping. And we're
We're up to 8. Are we up to 8?
we're to the last episode,
Yeah.
or is it last 2? Maybe?
10.
Maybe we're the last 2
Yeah.
episodes, but we're on the home stretch. We highly
Oh, so
recommend
good.
it.
Oh,
It's riveting.
I've told like maybe 5 people already to watch it.
It's just riveting. As was, and by the way, Matthew Good, you loved.
Oh, I
in
loved.
The Offer when
It was
he-
the story, the
it's
making of
the
the
making of
Godfather, and he
Godfather,
plays Robert Evans,
who was the most
Paramount studio
famous,
head.
infamous producer
Yeah.
ever, right?
Ali McGraw,
Yeah,
love story.
yeah.
And he also was in Downton Abbey.
Oh, he was. I didn't watch Downton
Yeah.
Abbey, so you got me on that one. Way to go, Matthew Good. But he's very
Oh,
talented.
he's amazing.
He's a
underrated,
powerhouse. Yeah.
underrated actor.
He's just a power. Hey, you gotta
Mhm.
wait. You gotta
Now
wait.
sit down
You
here.
just gotta wait. Which brings me to the one finale that I did watch solo
Oh, your
on the
Mobland.
treadmill.
Yes.
Mobland. I
Mhm.
finished Mobland. She wouldn't watch
No.
it because it was too bloody from the start. It's not that bloody. It's no more bloody than
Department Q?
Department
Oh.
Q, right?
Well, had I
It's-
known, but nobody told me.
Okay, it's so good. It is soap opera-ish. It's kind of like Falcon Cresty, Dallasy,
Yeah, Dallas. Mhm.
but it's about the London mob families,
Mhm.
one versus the other, the
Mhm.
Harrigans versus whoever.
Yep.
And Helen Mirren, I think, just steals it. But Pierce Brosnan is very effective, shockingly effective as the patriarch. She's the matriarch
Mhm.
of the Harrigan family. And I thought the penultimate episode,
Mhm.
9, was better than the finale,
Wow.
10. It was just better. The dialogue was better. I showed you one scene
Yeah,
from
I
it
watched the one scene.
where Helen Mirren puts this daughter
Mhm.
of
Tom
Tom Hardy in her place.
Mhm. No, it's good.
She's sleeping with Helen's grandson,
Right.
and she just skewers her
Yeah.
verbally, capable of skewing
Yeah,
her
she
with a
could
knife.
actually do that.
She
Yeah.
could, but I don't know. The finale, which leads to season 2,
Mhm.
obviously,
Yeah.
I'd give it a B. I'd give
B.
episode 9 an A plus. The finale
Wow.
a B. It has kind of a weird end in a weird exchange
Mm.
between Tom Hardy and his wife,
Mhm.
who does not want to go back to being a criminal's
Well,
wife.
don't give it away if
I
people are
won't.
watching
I'm
it.
not.
Oh,
I'm not giving
okay.
it away. But it just has a weird end that leaves you hanging. Obviously, which you
Yeah.
do need a cliffhanger going into season 2. But it's so bizarre. I just didn't love it. But
All
I
right.
did love
You don't have to
Mobland.
love the
I
last.
loved it. It was also
Wow.
gripping from start to finish.
Wow. So there's
It's
some good
memorable.
stuff out there.
Yeah. And I can't wait for season 2.
All right.
This is Alex from Louisville. Speaking of movies, I know you both are huge John Wick fans. Yes, we are.
John.
Excited to see Ballerina or staying away since it's a spinoff? Okay, I seriously thought when it opened
Mhm.
about maybe having to drag you to it or take you to it.
If Keanu's not in it, I
I
don't
know.
want to see it.
And I think he's in it for
10 minutes, I
10
read.
minutes.
Well, I mean, last night Keanu was at the Tonys.
Mm.
I would rather watch the Tonys and see him in the audience than to see him in this for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of hers. I mean, I like her, but I'm not wild. I don't think she's kick-ass enough.
I'm afraid it's just not going to remotely measure up.
No,
That's what I'm
I don't
afraid
think so
of.
either.
And we're also big fans of Charlize Theron.
She was
And-
at my nail place last week.
Okay. Atomic Blonde, which is also by the Wick people. And
That she was
it
amazing.
knocked me out of my seat.
She's kick-ass.
We liked
Incredible.
Atomic Blonde so much, we went
back
right
to
back
see
a
it
week
again.
later to see it in the theater
We did,
again.
and then we've watched it like at least 2 or 3 times.
2 or 3 times.
On TV.
By the way, I watched Rounders again the other day.
Yeah, you love
Your
that.
mother's
Yeah,
favorite.
my mother's favorite.
Right?
Matt Damon.
I'm just randomly throwing this out because I
Yeah.
just stumbled upon it. I have to find something to get me through an hour of treadmill.
Yeah.
And I just happened to catch it with 1 hour left.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's probably
love
the
that.
20th time I've watched it. It is so good. And by the way, that leads to another
There's
question.
a question about.
If I can
Have you
find it
lost
here.
your?
I kind of lost my way here because I'm not feeling that well.
Oh, great! And
Wait,
I'm
where
sitting
was that
next to
one?
you. Oh God.
Hang on.
Do you want me to look at it since you're too ill?
No. Where's the question about? We have a question about
crying. When
and I
was the
don't
last
know-
time you cried? Here, let's see. It's not on this page.
Hold on. Bear with us 1 second.
It's not on that page. It has to be
Did
on
it
the
not
second.
print?
Let's see. Wait a second.
I skimmed it last night and I saw it.
I can look on my phone. Here. I will get the question on my
Hang
phone.
on.
Hang on one
Just
second.
hang on one
Just
second.
hang on. Just cool your jets.
I know it's on
There, 1
here
second.
somewhere.
Here we go.
How did I miss it?
Okay. I don't know, but I will.
Oh, it's at the top of the
Oh.
page. I found it. I found
Okay.
it. Luke, thank you, Luke.
All right. Thanks, Luke.
Luke from Detroit asks, when was the last time you cried and why? Which I just brought up Rounders.
Yes.
Okay. Every time I watch Rounders,
You cry.
I cry at the end. Every time. And I'm not a big crier. And
No, you whine a lot.
I don't mind ever.
Yes, you do.
I'm
Why
not
don't
a
you?
crier of tears.
No.
I don't cry tears. She rarely
What do you-
cries.
You don't cry tears. What do you cry? You cry. I've seen you cry at movies a bunch of times.
A bunch of times?
I've seen you when we sit here and you say, that's brought tears to my eyes.
Okay.
Movies or shows.
Well, Rounders never fails,
Right.
which is impossible but true,
Yeah.
where there's a scene that he has with his professor. I told you this the
Martin
other day,
Landau.
Martin Landau. And
This is Matt Damon.
Matt Damon, I'm
Mhm.
sorry. Matt Damon is playing the character Mike, who has a burden in life, who's the character Worm, played by Ed Norton, who's just sensational.
And they're gamblers.
They're gamblers, but Worm is always just dragging him down the wormhole. You know, he's his baggage in
influence,
life. He's a terrible influence. So Mike's trying to go to law school, and he just doesn't belong in law school because his heart isn't in law school. His girlfriend's in law school, and she leaves him. But Martin Landau is talking about his life and times and how fortunate he was to stumble into law. And then he said he became obsessed with knowing everything about the law to the point he wanted to teach the law. And Matt Damon says to him, did you ever question the choices you made? And Martin Landau says, question how? That they weren't choices. He said, I didn't make any choices. It chose me. Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
So Matt Damon's saying, what's choosing me in life? Well, it's poker. It's playing poker. And so Worm's in debt for $15,000, and he ends up having to play Matt Damon. You should watch it if you haven't watched it. It's
Yeah,
really
it's
good
a great
because he
movie.
has to go play Teddy KGB in Teddy's underworld quarters for the 15,000, and he beats him at his own game.
Well, now you're
And
telling with the movie.
okay, but you know that's
You have to
coming.
watch it.
I'm not giving anything
Yeah.
away. And at the very end, I'm not spoiling, but Matt Damon just follows his heart to
Well,
Las
he
Vegas.
just
He's going
wants
to
to
play in the World
gamble.
Series of Poker, and he has an exchange with the cab driver taking him to the
Mm-hmm.
airport, and he's going to go see if that pot has his name on it. And that just brings tears to my eyes because you're following the destiny that chose you,
Mm-hmm.
not something that you're choosing. It chose you, and maybe you'll go bust. Maybe it doesn't have your name on it, but you at least have to go see, because you're just a small time, even though you're in Manhattan, you're just small time gambler, and you're just going to nickel and dime and lose nickels and win dimes and lose dimes and lose nickels. You know, you're going to go on the rest of your life. You got to go try. And that just makes me cry. So when was the last time you cried?
No, it's probably last week. I mean, I think it was Adele's son contacted me and said that he had my fans. I lent Adele, and that he was going through Adele's stuff.
Who is Adele?
Adele was my 105-year-old friend who lived in the next building, who
Yeah.
passed away in March, and she was my good friend. And it just made me think of her, like just going through her stuff, like she doesn't exist anymore.
Not in this realm.
No, so that made me
She's
sad.
in another realm.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luke, for that question. Hazel, when was the last time you cried? She cries.
Hazel cries all
constantly.
the time. She's a baby.
She whines.
She's a baby.
And she does get her way.
Are you back on track, or are you
Yep.
lost? Oh.
We did not go see Ballerina yet.
No,
I think we're going to wait to
I'll
see
wait
it
to
on
see it
Amazon.
on the couch.
Okay. Good question from Kendall from Bloomfield, Connecticut. I know Bloomfield. I used to play golf there a lot.
Our old stomping ground.
Hey, Skip and Ernestine. Here's a no. I know
Hey.
you like the question.
She
Here's a
loves this
deep question. You ready for this one?
Yeah.
Would you rather be feared by all, respected by all, understood by all, or loved by all? You can only choose one, and what's the why behind your answer? That is a deep, great question. We get a lot of deep, great questions, and we appreciate Kendall's. Which one?
Mine is between respected and loved.
Okay.
I can't decide. I mean, loved by everyone is nice.
Yeah.
But probably respected is better. Respected. Because then that means that you've done the right thing in life, that people look up to you and people respect who you are and what you are inside and out, hopefully. So I think respected.
I thought you would say loved.
It was close.
Yeah.
Loved was the other. Loved was a tight competition there. Loved. All right,
I think
slash
for you,
loved.
they're sort of the same
Yeah,
in a lot
loved.
of ways, because you want the people who love you to respect you
Yeah, okay.
and respect your love
I'll
for
do
them.
love slash respect.
Okay. Mine is far and away, if I may go deep, understood by all.
Oh, well, that definitely.
I'll never forget when I had my first breakthrough under Jamie Horowitz at ESPN on First Take, when he rebuilt the whole show pretty much around me, and sort of a rotation of debaters that we had in those days, as we went all debate for 2 hours. This is pre-Stephen A. on that show. And we had a great run through football season, pre-Stephen A., the Tim Tebow football season, and we set ratings records, albeit on ESPN2, that will never be broken, I don't think. Mainly because they abandoned ESPN2.
Yeah, there's no more ESPN2, but even up until
still
the
there,
end, there
but,
was nothing that was better than that.
But after Jamie and his crew got to know me. Whit, Charlie, Gabe. We were sitting around talking one day. There'd been a magazine piece that was written about me, Men's Journal. I believe it was Men's Journal. Guy spent a lot of time with me. And there's a lot of it that didn't ring true for me, and I'm surprised, and there were some mistakes in it. Whatever. I just let it go. But we were talking about the article, and everybody threw up their hands because they had gotten to know me, and they said, he just didn't get you. He didn't understand you. And Jamie said, someday somebody's going to write a magazine piece about Skip Bayless that will be about the most misunderstood man in the history of sports media, and it will make you understood. It will clarify you. It will define you correctly. And make you out to be what you really are. And so it's always about understanding, where am I coming from? What am I doing? And she gets me better than anybody. But it's so weird because I think of my favorite proverb in the Bible. It's Proverbs, I think it's 23:9. Don't speak within the hearing of a fool, for he, I hope I get this right. I can't remember the rest of it. For he will fail to understand what you're talking about. I'm trying to simplify the language of the Bible. And yet, if you're commenting publicly constantly, you're going to be speaking within the hearing of fools who are not going to understand what you're saying.
Right. I get it. Okay.
He will fail to grasp the wisdom of your words. Okay. So it's a constant. I did an interview that you listened to recently for a Terrell Owens project that my guy Mike Hill is overseeing for Amazon for Thursday Night Football. It's an NFL project on a documentary on Terrell Owens, and the whole theme was that Mike Hill believes that Terrell Owens was the most misunderstood football player, maybe professional athlete ever. So we're going back and forth about being misunderstood. And then I'm thinking about Terrell. I don't know how misunderstood he was. He just was kind of a mess. He was a great player, but I nicknamed him Team Obliterator because he just tore apart three teams, 49ers, Eagles, Cowboys, that were very good and sort of left them in shambles. And he did get into the Hall of Fame. As I concluded, he wouldn't be in my Hall of Fame because I do think I understood him. But I don't think most people understand where I'm coming from or what I'm really made of. So
yours would be misunderstood.
Misunderstood.
Okay.
I'd want to be understood by all.
Right.
Which will never ever happen. But that would
it'll
be
never happen.
a goal.
I mean, a good goal to have.
A good goal to have. Yeah, right. Okay, this is Cool Fortnite 200,000. Have you ever thought about adopting kids? Go.
Never in my life. I think it would be good. I told you last week when you were telling me about, I don't remember what you were telling me about, some game that you were watching. Oh, the softball, I don't know, ladies softball, what did she did, whatever. And then I said to you, you really need to have like a Big Brother program because you would be good with some young boy that just would kill to be around you or someone who loves sports.
Yeah.
You would be a great Big Brother. You would. I just don't want to have somebody all the time.
I was telling you about the Oklahoma-Texas Tech
I remember
Women's Softball
the girl
World
who
Series
was the pitcher.
game.
I know.
And Texas Tech had a dominating pitcher that Oklahoma couldn't touch. And they were down to their last strike.
Right.
Down 2-0 with a walked woman on first. And the ninth place hitter, a tiny little left-handed hitter, got hold of a changeup and just jacked
I
it.
know, but that's
Okay,
you
and it
find
was
that
all of a sudden
so
it was 2-2, and
compelling.
then we fell apart in the
I
bottom of the
don't
7th.
really
Okay,
care.
and I tried to tell her about it because it was the most shocking swing of the bat
I
I'd
don't know
ever
how you
seen.
can't understand. I
Okay,
don't care.
you don't care.
That's why you
I
need
got
a
it.
young boy as a
Okay,
brother thing.
but that would be, maybe I could be a big brother.
That's what I'm saying. Big brother program.
Okay, but adopting kids,
I've never had that.
we both said no to children, so we both are saying no to adopting kids.
I never
but it's
thought
a good
about.
question.
Did you ever think about
No,
adopting one?
never. I never thought about it. We would have to adopt now if we wanted kids.
Right, but what I'm saying is, it never crossed my mind
Never.
with you even.
Okay.
Oh, we should adopt a child.
Speaking of Oklahoma
Read too
City,
much.
this is from Edmond, Oklahoma, where my friend
Yes.
Craig and his son Sam
Yeah.
live. Skip, were you able to make amends with your parents before they passed away? Don't want to dwell on this. She'll get bored. She knows all the stories. But
It's okay.
yes, with my mother, big no with my father, who just drank himself to death at age 49 and just wasted away because he quit eating and only drank gin and Coke or whatever it was. Not cocaine, Coca-Cola. And I never was close to him, never knew him. I always say he's just an evil creep. And so I just had no communication with him. So he just passed. I did go to the funeral. I went all the way from West Palm Beach, Florida. I had to take the bus. Hey, I had to take a bus from Dallas to Oklahoma City and then drive with my mom and my brother and sister up to Okmulgee, Oklahoma to the funeral. So I did go to his funeral. So I guess,
behind you.
hey,
She's
where are you
behind
going?
you.
Where are you
So-
going? Hey.
Well, he was still your father, so
Yeah,
there
but
you
with
go.
my mother, I tried and tried. I'm not sure if we ever broke through, but I did tell her I loved her. I dedicated my first book on the Cowboys to her. I said, this is something I've never said to my mother, but I love you. Said it in my book dedication to her, the first page. So, yes, I did with my mother. Thank you for asking. Shay from Morgantown, West Virginia. If you could live in any era, 30s era glam, for example, which era would you pick? You would go
I love the 40s,
40s.
Deco, the Deco area. Era. I love Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, that whole world.
It's like you were born in another time and place.
That is
She's
true.
amazing with her recall. It's like I'm 10 years older than she is, and it feels like she's 20 years older than me with her recall, her grasp of old movies, 40s. She knows everything.
I do. My mother would always say,
She
"You're
is
an
an
old soul."
She is the oldest soul.
And I would listen to my mother tell me stories about all those days because she lived it. I just found it so fascinating. And I love the clothes. I love the home furnishings, the deco period. Just, it's amazing.
And I am very happy with the eras I've lived through. I've lived through a bunch
you don't
of
want
them.
to,
I don't want another one.
Really?
Well, you know how much I love
I mean, the 60s,
history.
but that was hard.
I know, but I lived through it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I'm
okay.
saying, yeah.
I was there. I know what it was, and I
Yeah.
was fine. I wasn't developed yet.
Well,
fully,
you were little, but
but I still know I experienced it.
yeah, that's true.
And then I know a lot about the Civil War. I know a lot about World War One and especially World War Two. I did not live through them, and I'm glad I didn't.
That was
You know,
hard.
I'm a big fan of the Old West, the Wild
Yeah,
West. I
but
know a
that would
lot
be a
about the
tough-
history, but it's just so hard. I mean,
Whenever we watch those movies, I always say to you, can you
How do you
imagine
do
living
it?
through those
it'd
times?
just be horrible.
Even like Little House on the Prairie, they kind of made it so much nicer. But
yeah, they scrubbed
yeah,
it.
they
Yeah,
romanticized it. But
they
who
did
wants to
because
live with
outhouses,
and Indians and cowboys and Indians
and
ugh,
no electricity,
oh,
and no
God.
telephone.
Those
and
people had it rough.
It was rough. I don't want any part of it. I want to know about it so I don't repeat it.
Yeah.
Okay, this is Jeremiah from Phoenix. When was the moment you realized that the career path you took was the best decision for you?
For me, what I ended up doing was not what I planned on doing. I never planned on being in public relations. I loved fashion, but I wanted to be a buyer. then I never became a buyer. I ended up working in fashion, and then but got into design, and then public relations. Then became my whole bigger career. So it just happened.
Yeah. So you chose it more than it chose you.
Yeah. I mean, I lived for fashion. Fashion was what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I was in fashion, but then that segued into public relations, and somehow I ended up rising above in public relations.
You have amazed me because you just went into places and just made it work.
Yeah,
you just rose above it and took it over.
Jobs, and I learned on the job.
You
really
did. Where I would have said, "Oh, you're not going to make it there," and you not only survived, you thrived.
Yeah, which I don't know why or how, but that was.
I don't know. Dynamo is how. But
sometimes you don't have to be schooled for things, and sometimes life is the better school.
Yeah.
And that's the way I feel.
I've told the story before, but my career path was set by my journalism teacher, who was my English teacher my sophomore year of high school. And she assigned us book reports, 1-page book reports
like
the first week. Yeah, it's like
Ice
that.
Cube said
it's
the same exact thing on your radio show. I mean, your podcast.
Yes. Where she read 1 page of a book report, and she called me up after class and said, "You're coming into journalism." I said, "I don't have any interest in journalism." She said, "I'm not asking. I'm telling. You're coming into journalism, and you're going to write me 2 sports columns a week." I said, "I play sports." She said, "I know all about you. You play basketball, you play baseball, you're really good at baseball. I don't care. You can write about the teams you're playing for." I can. So,
but that's a fate thing.
Okay, that just chose me. And I knew the first sports column I wrote, oh, this is what I was meant to do.
It's amazing.
And I'd never even written more than my name until I wrote that book report, and neither of my parents even graduated from high school. So thank you, God. Yeah, thank you, God. Okay, now you've waited all this time to get to your question. Now it's your question. This is Keith Kramer, 8194 from YouTube, at Keith Kramer. "Heck with Keeping Up with the Kardashians. The show we want is Keeping Up with Hazel." Keeping Up with Hazel.
Hazel, you get a show.
Here's the pitch from Keith Kramer.
You got to put that down so you can see she gets a show.
Come join Ernestine and Hazel as they journey across Beverly Hills. Hazel runs the show. She keeps the Bayless household in order. She's a Valley girl from Burbank, California. Queen of the Maltese breed. Be careful, as she will bite you if you get too close. She will, trust me.
She says, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the pitch.
Yeah.
That's the pitch.
She needs her own show because she is the star of this household.
She says feathers for every girl.
And we took her to the mall on Saturday, and we tried to sit away from the
that
parade.
Was a nightmare.
And people get their tables around us, like picnic kind of tables, and people just merely they're a few feet away, and they get up to throw something in the trash, and she's like coming out of my hand. She's going to take their leg off.
So annoying.
Look at her now. She's very peaceful because she knows we're talking about
question. She said, "I'd like to send him a note, a thank you note, get his information."
She's saying that. She's staring at the question.
Get his information,
right now.
his contact info.
Oh, it's Keith Kramer.
Keith.
I love Keith Kramer.
She said, "I love Keith."
And then every time she starts to go crazy, she reaches into the treat bag and starts giving her treats.
What can I do? I mean,
you're giving her 4
I
or 5
can't bribe her
treats.
with money.
It's too many.
She's not going to go for money.
If I give her 2 treats, she's all over me saying, you're making her fat.
No, she's getting, now I bought these new things called Nulo, Nulo.
Okay.
They're these little tiny treats.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally the size. You can't see.
Yeah.
They're the size of an M&M. So she thinks she's getting a lot. You got 1 Nulo.
We got a double standard
here.
Go
sit down. You got 1 Nulo.
She gets to give her all the treats in the world.
All the treats.
I give her
Willy Wonka.
No treats.
She gets all the treats in the world.
All the treats in the world.
Hazel.
Okay, that's it for episode 28.
Oh my God! Thank God. I hope I don't. Hopefully next week. Don't breathe.
We'll see you next week.
If I'm still
breathing and we're still speaking.
Peace out.